Hey guys, welcome to the Tech Points Africa podcast. My name is Muiwa.
My name is Oluwanifemi.
I'm Emmanuel.
And I'm Tej.
Welcome back, Emmanuel and Nifemi. You guys were missing last week.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Bit under the
thanks.
weather. I hope you guys are better now.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's good to have you back. Welcome. Okay, so it's raining funds this week, or should I even say this month? It's just raining funds all over the place. What's going on? Heritage. You've been busy reporting funding for the what's going
I
on?
don't know, to be honest. I don't myself. I'm shocked because I don't know, like maybe investors have been holding money since the beginning of the year to spend in November, right? So it's interesting.
Or is it maybe the pandemic? Or maybe they've been processing it for a long while, but because of the pandemic,
Exactly,
things slowed
yes.
down.
And
they're
now
just
everything
finally
is
out.
busting.
before the year runs
Yeah.
out and all. So we started off the week with Talent QL. Adewale Yusuf, ex-publisher, left to start the company. So they raised $300,000.
Yeah, we mentioned it last week.
$300,000 pre-seed.
$300,000
as pre-seed investment.
Pre-seed. That's almost
Pre-seed.
140 million.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Pre-seed.
pre-seed.
Wow.
Interesting that
For pre-seed.
about, I think, half of it
Interesting.
or more than half came from the lead investor, Zcrest Capital, and they're like Lagos-based, right? So, I mean, yeah,
So
this
local
one
investor.
local investor investing in local
That's interesting.
startup, in a local startup. So they want to use the funding
It is
to
quite
carry out
And leading
understandable.
the round.
Yeah, I mean it is. 300k is no small feat for pre-seed, yeah.
That seems like it's quite understandable because this startup is focusing on local talent, building talent in Nigeria beyond the regular space that we know it for, like Lagos.
Yeah.
It's looking into other local markets. So it's understandable that local investors are very, very interested in the startup.
Yeah, and also looking at the pedigree of the founders, Adewale
Right,
Yusuf,
right. That pushes like the
Okpeyemi.
narrative that Syrian
Okpeyemi
entrepreneurs,
Awu, Jobaman.
Syrian
And
entrepreneurs, they
the
have
Sultan.
Ask Sultan.
Yeah. Cool stuff. So Heritage, what are they going to use the money for exactly? The $300K
Okay, so
dollars.
to carry out, like normally to carry out the operations and build campuses they want to in Ife, because Ife is their first location. They're going to be based out of Ife, right? But Ife is the first location where they will have their campus before spreading out to other places across the country, except Lagos State, like what Nifemi said.
Okay.
So they used it to do that and carry out operations basically. Then also, interestingly,
Yeah.
the local stuff too. We saw this guy Prosper Otemuyiwa, co-founder of Eden, also
Yeah.
involved in the pre-seed round. So as
Wow.
founders themselves even investing
In startups.
startups.
Yeah, those are good signs about a growing ecosystem. Like the ecosystem is coming of age. That's cool to know. That's cool. Okay. There's more funding news again.
Right.
We have not rested. We have not recovered
Yeah.
from that one. Another pre-seed.
So yesterday, yes, AutoCheck said, okay, since Talent QF raised 300k, let's add another zero to it. And they raised $3.4 million pre-seed.
Wow.
Pre-seed.
Pre-seed.
I think
oh.
it's the largest pre-seed funding we've had in Nigeria, right?
Okay,
Doubles the one that Kuda Bank
Kuda Bank was
raised
1.6,
in
yeah? Okay, yeah. That's true.
1.6, yes, 1.6
Wow.
million dollars last year. So they want to disrupt Africa's automotive industry. So not just Nigeria, Ghana, before moving to Kenya. Then I think when I spoke to ETOP day before, they said me mention of going to North Africa, but yeah, so they want to actually disrupt Africa's automotive industry. And the lead investor for this was Lagos, London, and Nairobi-based TLCom, right, and US-based 4DX Ventures. So, and they just launched like 4 months ago. That was in August.
That
And
is
went live this month.
They barely
surprising.
And now
started.
they've raised 3.4 million.
They
Wow.
barely started. So it's not so surprising because, and this is a trend. Like even our report covers this, the West African Decade report.
The
Serial
serial entrepreneur
entrepreneurs
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
raise more
easier
money.
for
So
them.
with Talent QL, we had Adewale and of TechPoint and Okoyemi
Of
of
Jobberman.
Ojobaman and Wugo host. This Etop Ikpe, for example, now was running Cars 45,
Mm-hmm.
and before that, he was a member. It was a Conga. He was a
He was a
founding.
commercial director at Conga.
Yeah, he was a founding team
then
member at Conga.
co-MD at Duty.
Exactly. So he has a lot of experience. He's a serial
And
entrepreneur.
it's even in the
Yes.
same industry. Cars, automobiles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't. I know you
Car
covered the
financing.
story when he left Cars 45 to start auto check. To be honest, I'm still
Yeah.
confused how what they're doing is different because I know Cars 45 helps people purchase second-hand cars, but is that not what the same thing that auto check does?
So yeah, AutoCheck is covering like the end-to-end process of let's say car financing and dealership. In the sense that okay, so Cars 45, for example, they just dealt with matching buyers and sellers, right, of cars. But AutoCheck is taking it to another level of bringing financials into the market to
Okay.
offer like car financing, right, loans to people that want to buy cars, right? They can pay in interest later, right? And also bringing car workshops too
Okay.
into the space. So it's not just a marketplace for connecting car buyers and car sellers. Yeah, so it's how I put it, a whole different ball game entirely. So you're adding financials into the space. You're bringing in more data, more insights offered to people willing to pay for it and all that. So yeah, it's different from. I mean, you can see they are almost the same thing, but no, it's different. It's different.
But he's
yeah.
the founder of Cars 45, right? So he left.
Sorry?
He's the founder of Cars 45, which is still running.
Yeah,
he
said he left.
to
Yeah,
start
he left
auto
it to
check.
do this.
Yeah. Anyway, that's really interesting.
Wow. He's competing with
Yeah.
himself or what? Okay, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. Then we'll still not recover from
I
that
mean, we'll
one.
never know the full story.
Another funding. Yeah, exactly.
But
We'll
yeah.
never know the full story. Then there's another funding round again. This time not by Nigerians.
Yes. Okay. The founders are, I think, Cameroonian or Ivory Coast, something like that. But they are US based.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they added another 0 to the 3 point something that AutoCheck.
But this
Wow.
one is
What
not
is
seed
going on this
So this
week?
one is not seed funding. Yeah, so Cheaper Cash, a Pan-African or let's say an African-focused cross-border payments and peer-to-peer payment startup raised $30 million in Series B funding.
Cool
right?
stuff. Cool stuff.
So the interesting thing is that December last year they raised $6 million. That was their second seed round in December last year. Then this June they raised $13.8 million.
And in less
Series
than
A.
6 months.
Now they're raising 30 million, like in the space of 1 year. So it's just 12 months rather, and adding it to their first Series A edition seed fund of 2.4. So they raised like $52 million in 2
Wow.
years. It is
Crazy
it's
stuff.
crazy to be
Jeez.
honest.
But
Wow.
is that
Yeah.
not somehow? I mean, this is good news and it's happy. Everybody's happy. But somehow I see the worrisome side to it that they're raising so much so fast. Is that not worrisome? There will be so much of dilution of shares,
Shares and all
investor
that.
shares
Yeah.
and
of shares,
everything, yeah.
and even the founders, they'll continue to dilute their shares because the way they just keep raising, they're probably going to be raising again now. So as much as we are so happy and it's so positive, I'm also worried about the speed and the frequency at which they're raising.
Maybe it
It's
depends
very
on
worrisome,
what
but-
they want to use the funds for. There will be a pitch to investors, probably what they want to use the funds for. It might be coming a little more too close to each other, but maybe they have plans for it.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
all they're saying they're using the money for is to expand, and that's what they said the last time they raised. So are they saying they've run out
Yeah.
of the $13 million they raised just a couple of months ago?
So I think it's Silicon Valley mentality. You know,
Yeah,
like
they're
they're more
pushing them.
US based than African.
Oh,
They're pushing them to
Sorry?
keep raising. No, I mean they're pushing. I know some
Exactly.
investors are probably trying to cash out. Some investors are probably trying to so like okay, raise again, push. I just
But I
hope,
think the founders can be saved from how do I put it? Can shield themselves
From dilution,
diluting their
yeah.
shares. because I've read up on stuff of So maybe just the investors are directing their own shares and they keep their own. But there's something like growing too fast, and I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see if it will catch up with them or
I hope
if
they
will
can
actually
keep
pull
up.
through with it.
But it's interesting to know that Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder, was part of the round via his personal personal VC fund.
Expedition.
Interesting stuff.
Yes,
that's really interesting.
So this is first play into the African space.
Right.
Tech space. So it will be.
Maybe we're going to be seeing some.
If you make further ones.
Amazon integration, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Congrats to all the startups that raised this week. There was also one, of course, they don't identify as an African startup. And even the founder doesn't really identify as African, but he's a Nigerian American. Tomiwa, is that his name? The guy behind Calendly. They also raised a 3.4 billion valuation.
Wow.
What's with the threes this week?
Wow.
Three everywhere.
Calendly.
Everywhere. Yeah, Calendly.
Wow. Oh, yeah, this one is Nigerian, no? Doesn't see.
But I'm not sure. Anyway, let's just move on. We started with the good news, but let's go to a bit of, I don't know that I'll call it bad news. In Kenya.
Yes.
So Safe Border is exiting Kenya, the Ugandan startup.
Yes, so the startup announced on Monday rather, that to be pausing, that's the word used, its operations in Kenya from November 27th. And this, it says, is because of COVID-19, the effect of COVID-19 on the economy, that it seems the company might not recover anytime soon. And so the reasonable step to take is to pause operations there.
But let me get that straight. They are leaving Kenya because of the pandemic.
Yes.
But they are still in Uganda where they started, and they are still in Nigeria.
So
these same countries were also affected by the pandemic.
Exactly, in Africa. So although that was the only thing that was mentioned, but there are speculations that there are other reasons behind it, and one of that is the competition that the startup might be facing in Kenya, because Kenya entered the market it entered Kenya market in 2018. In 2018, by that time there were like 5 major border hailing platforms in Nairobi by that time when it came to join. And aside that, there were reports that before the pandemic, before lockdown in March, that was before coronavirus cases were recorded in Africa. Border riders in Kenya, for Safe Border, they were complaining that their discounts are too high and it's affecting their own gains. So they protested around that time. So it's possible that some of them have moved on to other competitors, or some of them were not able to recover from the prices. So there are many reasons that can be responsible for it, because in Nigeria, it only launched in Nigeria in early this year.
Ibadan.
Yes, in Ibadan. It was able to escape Lagos regulatory ban on Okada and tricycles. So, but since Opay left market, Allride rather left the market in Ibadan, the only competitor has been Max. So we can say that it was able to survive in Nigeria because less competition. Also in Uganda, it has the early entry advantage. So there are a lot of things that might be responsible for it, but we hope that.
Should we conclude that it's going to survive in Nigeria?
Hopefully.
I don't know, because Ibadan is not that much of a
market.
It's not as big a market as Lagos.
Yeah. But they have less competition there. So let's have.
And hopefully they learn from whatever caused Kenya close down. Yeah.
Still on Kenya, the giant telco Safaricom is under serious, would I call it pressure or attack, Emmanuel?
I would say pressure. That looks like an attack for the most part. So it appears Safaricom is being made to pay the price for its dominance. So Safaricom is like the dominant telco in Kenya. They dominate everything: mobile data and mobile money. So um, last a few months ago or last year, the Kenya government invited a UK consulting firm to determine or investigate Safaricom's dominance in the market. So after its investigation, the company Analysis Mason said he recommended that Safaricom should be split into two: the mobile telecoms arm and M-Pesa. So that was a recommendation that Analysis Mason gave. Now the Kenyan lawmakers are saying, okay, this should be, we should implement this and declare Safaricom a dominant market power, whereas the operator has been fighting like really, really seriously that no, we are not a dominant market power. We should not be made to pay the price for being successful. So it's
What's the market share again? 60%, right?
yes, and for mobile money it's 99% for M-Pesa.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Yeah, first mover advantage.
yeah,
And they
so
are not claiming dominance.
they are not claiming dominance. Okay, so the lawmakers are saying M-Pesa should be under the Central Bank of Kenya, while Safaricom should be under the Communications Authority in Kenya. So the two entities will be split, different boards, different business model, different brands. They will not be related to each other in any way. So that's what they.
I thought Nigeria was heartless.
See, I have a bad feeling about this will turn out because the major push for the use of mobile money at telcos. That is why it was like it can gain that much dominance. M-Pesa is mostly used in Kenya. It's telcos, so separating them is going to cause like they should actually be grateful to Safaricom for helping them to push that.
Exactly, because they don't know how started
Yeah.
getting
Come and
pesa
ask
first.
Nigeria now.
Since 2007, like, come
Yeah,
on.
but at the same time, there's
That's
such a
just-
thing as a fear of monopoly and practices that.
But
I mean,
before M-Pesa, there was nothing like that, right?
Yeah.
In Kenya.
yeah.
So it's like,
So they
without
should
them,
they
it
should
wouldn't
reap the
exist.
benefits of innovating. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But governments will always want to regulate. That's just how it works. They tried to break up Microsoft in the US.
Even Google right now.
Even in the earlier years, Rockefeller's company, I can't remember what the original company was. They broke it up into Chevron,
Standard
Shell.
Oil.
Yeah, it was breaking up into Chevron, Shell, and all the other ones that we see today. So the things are always happening like that.
ExxonMobil and all that.
Governments always want to regulate and say, okay, yes, you innovated, we're happy that you innovated, but at this point you have gotten to now, you're stifling competition, you're not allowing other people to grow. Yeah. I don't
Well,
It's normal.
so the thing is even
There are
funny.
both
It's
sides of the argument.
That's crazy.
yeah, but the
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
thing is Safaricom's competitors, Airtel and Telcom, they are owing Safaricom billions of shillings or Kenya shillings.
Interesting. Interesting.
Are you kidding me?
So are you suspecting that they want putting the pressure on the government to break up Safaricom?
Yeah, sort of, because they've been planning a merger to try and make themselves a little bit bigger so that they can fight. But that merger, in strange circumstances, did not just work out. And the reasons they gave for it not working out are just not clear at all. So I don't know. But whether they split Safaricom or not, I don't see how Airtel and Telcom can, because Safaricom dominates the infrastructure in Kenya too. So I don't see how they are going to even enter the market.
How they can enter the market, yeah?
Yeah,
Anyway,
or break.
we'll be following
Even
we'll
the
following
fact
it.
that Vodacom has about some percentage of, I think 60% of Safaricom. Vodacom is like South African based telco. So I don't even know how the whole thing will work. Whereas it's left to them to decide.
We'll be watching to see how things unfold, and maybe there are lessons we can learn from Nigeria and other parts of Africa.
Right.
Yeah. Before we go, just very quickly, as fleeting as this future is, let's just talk about Twitter fleets. They've launched like their own story future. So everybody's just launching stories.
Right.
Ephemeral posts.
Post like
And Twitter too has joined the
it seems like that the last Twitter is the last social media platform that joined this craze of stories like disappearing, um post.
Post or whatever it's called.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was actually, it started testing since
I will be
March.
begging them not to do it.
It started testing since March in Brazil and India, but on Wednesday it
Mm-hmm.
was rolled out worldwide. And it feels like, well, it's the craze and people will accept it. No, so it's not a question of whether people will accept it or not. They've met with it on Instagram, on Facebook Messenger, on WhatsApp. I even heard it's on
Even
Medium.
LinkedIn.
Yes, LinkedIn. I even heard it's
Yeah.
on
Oh,
Medium.
it's on Medium.
I'm
What
not
the
confirmed, but I was surprised. So,
Are you
so
kidding me?
because and it
Did-
works
did-
through the
did-
same process. So I believe that people will up on it and might not forget it as easily as they forgot other features that came earlier, like the audio tweet and
That's true.
audio
We've all forgotten
DM,
about audio.
right?
Yeah.
So, and another thing is, it seems people are more comfortable sharing images than text, which
Yeah.
is kind of
Yeah.
the like what people like to do on Twitter. So hopefully people will put out pictures that they know within a short time it will be gone. And yes, and another thing that
Yeah.
people, it
Well,
seems,
So they
interesting
want to
stuff.
turn Twitter to Instagram.
or
Wow.
Snapchat. But
Data.
another,
Oh my God.
right? So, but another concern that Twitter wants to solve with this fleet is avoiding harassment, because when you drop your replies under a tweet, and an open tweet, because people can now log their replies now, you can be easily harassed, easily cancelled. But now you saw a story, you can reply the person in their can reply them privately instead of saying please open your DM. That, so, and yes, algorithm, people can be seen easily instead of waiting for your tweet to be seen. You can just put it in stories and people on your timeline can find it. So we hope that
Can see it.
this is Twitter becoming like every other social media. I think it's losing the taste, like Twitter.
I'm not sure I want Twitter to be like every other social
Yeah,
media.
I
That
don't
is
hope
what
that
I'm not
it's
sure I want
becoming
that.
now,
Twitter is unique.
right?
But
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Anyway,
so
we'll
find
see how
our
it is. We'll be
parents
playing
on
around with
Twitter.
it over the weeks. Yeah, exactly. We'll see how it goes. I've not tested it yet, but I'll check it out. I actually don't use the Twitter app. I just use my browser. I don't like to use most of those apps. So I don't use Twitter app, I don't use Facebook app, I just use my browser. But I'll check it out,
Is
see
there a
what it's
reason for
like.
that?
Those apps just push. Yeah, although you can disable notifications, but they're always trying to get you to just use the app. And I don't know, I just don't. And with Twitter on my browser, I can set a data saver mode where pictures don't load until I click on them and all of that. So it just works for me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so cool stuff. Before we go, finally, you heard it here first. Emmanuel, there's an event that is coming up next year. Let our podcast listeners learn about it first before we announce it next week.
Drum rolls.
yeah. Okay, so we'll be launching the maiden edition of the digital currency event. It's called the Digital Currency Summit 2021. So we'll be bringing the biggest, the brightest, and most innovative minds in the world of cryptocurrency in January. The location will be at 4 Points, and of course, we'll give you more details when we announce it. But whether you're a business person, a crypto enthusiast, a developer, in fact, the conference will be split into two. We'll have a business conference and a technical conference. So for those interested in the business side of things, then you have a lot of discussions around regulations, fundraising for crypto, and a lot of other topics. And for the technical side, if you're a developer, you want to learn about smart contracts, blockchain, gamifying tokens, and a lot of all that. We'll bring in speakers, seasoned speakers, and industry players to come and discuss that. Of course, we are expecting regulators too to be part of the discussion. So don't miss out on this event, especially considering everything that is going on right now, and the fact that crypto adoption in Nigeria is blossoming at a massive rate. In October alone, during the
It's
NSAS
huge.
protest,
It's really
Yeah.
huge.
$32 million was processed in cryptocurrency. So I want to build the money of the future at the digital currency event. Yeah, so don't forget and stay tuned.
Yes,
No,
stay tuned.
let's say
Stay
stay
glued.
tuned. Stay glued to the Tech Point
Stay glued to
website.
Tech Point.
We'll give you
We'll
all
give
the
you the
details.
details.
Yeah.
Check our website.
Yeah, we'll give you all the
You'll find
details,
out
yeah.
by Monday. You get more details, but at least you know first before everybody now. So cool stuff. For those
Yeah.
who are listening for the first time, where can they get the podcast, Emmanuel?
Okay, if you're listening for the first time, and of course, if you've been listening before, you know where to get it. Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, and please don't forget, we're no longer on SoundCloud, so you can check any of what the other platforms we mentioned, and don't forget to visit our website, podcast.techpoints.africa. And don't forget to drop a like, share, and review.
Yeah, and of course, everything we talked about today, if you want more details, they're on our website. We'll put links in the episode notes or the description, depending where you're listening from. Final words, Nifemi and Heritage.
Your mental health is very important. Be careful the information you consume. Subscribe to all our platforms, TechPoint.Africa, on Twitter, on Facebook. Subscribe to our website so that you get good information.
And don't forget community.
Yeah, so what Nifemi said, and let's see if we keep on seeing more funds coming.
I like that. More funds
before the end
coming
of the
in.
year.
All right,
More
guys.
fun and more
It was
fun.
nice catching with you. See you all or hear from us next week. Bye.
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 Bye-bye.